Flow Riders? Welcome to The Flow. I am your community manager, Doc Rock, along with my awesome co-host.
Hey, I'm Katie.
Today, we got a special guest, so we don't want to waste a lot of time. We're going to dive right in, but just make sure you hang around because this is fitting to be awesome. You might need to pull over the car because if anybody laughs and crash, not on me. All right. Anyway, so Katie, I see you brought some company along.
I did. So for those of you who don't know me well, or you only know me here in podcasting space and not in real life, I have some absolutely incredible friends that I tricked into being friends with me by getting married to their friends. But they have started a podcast. It is called If These Balls Could Talk. It is so much fun. And that's coming from someone who is like the mildest of sports fans. I'm like 90s hockey level sports fan, but I had the honor of being on their podcast recently. And I just wanted to bring them onto the flow to be able to let them talk through their process, how they got started. I've talked about their show a little bit over the last couple of weeks, so I think it's just going to be a lot of fun. But without further ado, here are John and Mark from If These Balls Could Talk.
Hey!
Yay, we did it.
Hey guys, thanks for having us.
Thanks for hanging out with us today.
When Katie first said you guys were coming on, all I could think of was like, I really love the name of your show, and that would have been a perfect name for my DJ memoirs.
Amazing.
It kind of came up by total accident too. Like a lot of the stuff that we've done really wasn't on purpose. It was just someone like, what should we name it? It's like, what if these balls could talk? It's like, yes.
Well, and specifically, and so we're talking about friends and friends through marriage. My sister-in-law, who is married to our producer, Pete, who unfortunately couldn't be here today. We're talking about starting a podcast, and Mark's like, I think I want to start one. And I'm like, I want to do everything, right? As long as it involves talking to people, I'm in. And so Pete texted me and he's like, I think Stephanie came up with the name. And he tells me If These Balls Could Talk. And I'm like, oh my God, that's perfect. That's it.
and then she does the theme song too, which just makes it even better.
So under your advice, we just went, right? We were like, okay, let's do a test episode. Katie was like, just don't worry about getting it right. Just get content out. And so we did our test episode and it went really well. It was super fun. And at the end of the test episode, Stephanie walks in. We're just doing it over Zoom. And she has kind of a test run of the theme song on her iPhone. And she plays it. And it's amazing. I mean, the name is really silly. The song is really silly because it matches. And I really liked it. I really liked the voice of it. And just the fact that we're kind of just friends having fun.
Yeah, I think there's so many huge things in there. So I want to split it out. I want to say to everyone that's watching, the theme of this show has been and continues to be that you're here watching or listening because you care about podcasting. You're probably here because you've started a podcast or are thinking about starting a podcast. And we say over and over again, just do it. Just press the button, record, be silly, have fun. Don't overthink things too much. And I love that both of you were like, yeah, in. I mean, I think from the moment where you're like, I think we should do a podcast to like, how do we do this podcast? To me, listening to the first episode was probably like a week. I feel like it went really fast. And I love that because I get asked all the time, and I'm sure Doc does as well, you know, how do I do this? How do I get started? I've been thinking about it. And I love that you were just like thinking about it, doing it really quickly. Because that in many ways is just the best way to stop yourself from talking yourself out of it or overthinking it to death or losing a lot of the fun and the reason why you wanted to get into it.
It's called the rip the Band-Aid moment. Like if you literally sit there and think about it too long, you're totally going to change your mind. And so scared is what everyone uses, but I think it's more than just scared. A lot of it has to do with the confusion of not knowing where to start or what you should do, whatever. And normally if you pick any platform, I think the biggest fear is, which platform should I use, right? It's even having done this since before there were actual platforms, but you had to code them by hand. Way back in the day, there's like 3 or 4 apps that were available. And even then you would sit there and look at the 4 apps and goes, which one of these should I use? And at the end of the day, that you still had to write the XML by hand. So it's kind of funny, but it's in the same position right now, being afraid to make that first mistake.
How did you come up with the format of like, okay, we want it to be a sports podcast, but we also really want to incorporate friends and conversation and pop culture into the mix?
So this is definitely something that John and I have done for years. I mean, we've known each other since college, like 25 years at plus that we've known each other. And this is just, the podcast is really essentially just us talking to each other for stuff that we've done for like 27 years, right? That's how long we've known each other, right?
24. You keep coming up with numbers.
24. I'm just gonna keep
time now.
I'm just gonna keep upping the numbers. Like, yeah, we've known each other for 97 years. But it's John and I have we've been sports fans. He's wearing a Yankee hat right now. He's a New York based fan. I'm a Boston based fan. We've had a lot of interactions especially about sports, but we're both very well-rounded individuals too, because we can definitely talk about just about anything. John definitely a little bit more of a talker than I am, but it's just everything just seemed organic with this. I think that's why it works, and it's so much fun for both of us, really.
Yeah, I mean, you make something that you can really be proud of, and people ask you about it, and I think the guest nature of it sort of just happened naturally too, where we did the first test episode and we were like, okay. And they're like, we should have some guests. Yeah. And so we know a lot of people. And so we just literally started asking our friends to start. And they were like, you know what, this theme where we're adding a guest level, but also kind of changing the voice of our conversation every time we have a different guest really worked. And so then we just, started asking more kinds of people within kind of different walks of life, maybe not sports fans. And I think that just continued.
So for those of you who haven't yet checked out the podcast, the format is really cool because there are these like very obviously, a lot of conversation about sports and what's happening and, and everything in that world. But the episodes are also really catered and customized to each of the guests. So, on my episode, there was a lot of talk about pop culture and TV and movies and YouTube and, all these kinds of things that I could speak to and felt generally comfortable speaking to. No totally off the cuff questions, but I think it makes it really great because there's always like a sub audience that's going to come over with those guests, and maybe they're not going to stay for every single episode, but they have that level of investment in it because they've been a guest on the show, right? So like you two may not have had any interest in checking out this podcast, but because I forced you to come on, maybe you'll check out a couple of other episodes or tell people that, that you were on this episode. It helps to spread the word and to kind of grow that base, which I think is really huge. Doc's dropping in your link. So yeah, people really, it's a lot of fun.
Paul already did it because Paul is so quick. I'm like, okay, never mind. Let me just do this and leave Paul alone. All right. So I have a question. In your first, what we are on, like 80, almost 80 episodes now. What are some of the major takeaways or learning experiences that you've had thus far?
Well, I think the one thing that we've really been progressing through very quickly is audio quality. And so our friend Pete, who you saw for a second, is the most interesting person, right? Because he likes a million things, but what he's really good at is specifics of both video and audio quality. He's a professional video FX engineer. And so he works at a small company that does stuff for Hollywood, but he hears things that I don't, right, in sound. And so what he's been doing, we progressed through a single stream audio source edited in Premiere from Zoom, which was fine. And then we figured out how to get Zoom to do multiple track audio sources for each of the people on the podcast, which obviously is much better. And once we got that going, Pete developed a way to get us some audio EQ templates. And so we get the audio streams, we put them into Premiere that he's already mastered, and I edit it for content and we put it out. And so, start to finish, that's like a 3-day process. But it's really very clockwork right now. So we're putting them out with not that much challenge.
We've been learning a lot too about like social media and marketing too, because that's definitely something we're trying to get the word out as much as we can. A lot of the stuff has just, again, has been organic, but we definitely want to just we're trying to appease to the masses in some respects, but also have a somewhat of a specialized group of listeners. But I mean, a lot of the stuff, yeah, we've just been learning on the fly, I think, which, I think we're all relatively smart individuals, and we've actually done something like this before, especially with Pete. Back in our college days, we helped. We helped with a friend's college band, and one day was like, hey, we should record an album. It's like, yeah, none of us knew how to do that, but we just did it on the fly, and it turned out pretty good.
Mark, don't you still get royalty checks for like 10 cents?
I still get these 10-cent royalty checks from a band that had happened so long ago.
It's
It still
amazing.
happens.
I absolutely love that.
Katie remembers the band.
I do.
They're on Spotify too. I saw the other
The
day.
songs are just like playing in the background of my head. Yeah, no, I think it's a clever way to go. And again, something we really preach often here is this concept of just figuring it out and not being afraid to push the buttons and to try and to find out who is in your network. Like, you are both lucky in that Pete is incredible. Like, I mean,
Absolutely.
Doc, you and Pete will probably be best friends. I was when I jumped on, Pete was like, "Oh, hang on, you're going to want to make these couple changes. What are you using? A Roadcaster? Great. Like, you're going to want to make these, tweaks to your system." His knowledge and his ability to just hear what's happening and to know what edits to make and what changes to make just makes a guest feel really comfortable. So I think, learning those things, and you two have done a great job of picking up what, different aspects of the podcasting flow, and taking ownership over those and learning them each week as something that everyone can do. I mean, that's something we've both been doing here on this show is learning what works and doesn't work and learning how to stay calm when things don't go the way that you want them to, or, things happen out of left field. But it's noticeable, really the difference between start to where you are now. Just wrapped your first season. And, from first episode to last episode, I hope you noticed the difference. Like, it's not that the first episode was terrible, but like the growth, the growth and the level of confidence, comes from just pushing those buttons and finding the right people and taking those risks. I mean, they're not even crazy risks, but small jumps and teaching yourself as you go.
When we mess up less and our conversations are better. It's a sports podcast, but like we've talked about diversity, we've talked about women in sports, we've talked about the pay gap in sports, we've talked about AI, and I think there was one episode we got into a whole aside about like the ethics behind like AI and like cyborgs. I'm just like, it just happens naturally too, which makes it so cool.
One of the most underrated point guards ever. And I grew up with him. He actually lived not that far from me when we were in like junior high and high school. But I think he's still one of the most underrated guys, and it had a lot to do with his attitude and not wanting to practice.
Oh, Allen Iverson. Yeah, absolutely.
You said AI. What the hell are you talking about?
No. Mark in it. I'm like, who? What?
Oh, I did right away.
Mark's on it. He's got it
right away.
The funny thing is, this had nothing to do with him, but the shopping mall that wasn't that far from our neighborhood is actually called Iverson Mall. So
that's
when a lot of people that were younger thought that, oh, he owned the shopping mall, and I was like, no, man, that's been named that since like the 40s, man. It's not the same thing. I think what Katie was telling me about what you guys are doing with AI is just freaking absolutely brilliant.
Let's talk about that for a second, because I think we get this question all the time from flow riders or from Ecamm customers, is like, what do we do? AI is coming for our jobs. AI is taking, and how do we use it really effectively? How do we use it as podcasters and content creators? And yeah, do you guys want to talk a little bit about how you were using it on your website, about AI Story Hour that you're doing? I thought that was so clever.
Well, we talked about ChatGPT in one episode as one of just the questions, and we talked about how it's impacting people, how it's impacting jobs. And so I've been kind of webmastering, and I thought it might be a fun idea to both relate it to our Discord and any of the input that we've gotten with people, but ask people for ideas to ask stories for the AI. And so AI Story Hour is on the website, and it changes 3 or 4 times a week. And we put ridiculous stories or ridiculous situations. This past episode, we talked about the greatest NBA starting lineup of all time. So that's what's on there right now. And content generation with ChatGPT is so interesting.
Allen Iverson was not part of it, by the way, Doc.
And really, you have to think about what things you can get from it and use it as a tool instead of as being scared of it.
We had a great guest. He was actually telling us how he would use ChatGPT in his lessons, because he would say, okay, we know this is out there. Have ChatGPT just create the content, like 3 different essays, but then you have to actually grade them and use some critical thinking so that you're trying to learn something, but you're also being able to use the technology.
That's one of the things that I've been talking to everybody about is, listen, people of a certain vintage, we have had 3 or 4 major opportunities, and I've always been a curious person and a button presser, so I've always been in the majority of the opportunities, or at least somewhere near adjacent, right? So I guess for us, the computer was first, right? And then so we got to that thing, and then a lot of people, they dragged the butt about it, and then when maybe 10 years into computers, I was getting offers to go work at Adobe. I ended up at Apple, and people were like, "Oh man, like, oh, you're so lucky." No, because I told you guys back then we should do this, and you guys should learn how to code and learn some basic stuff. Let's make some websites, whatever. Everybody was dinging around and having fun talking to Becky and them, and then they was mad because they missed it. So a little bit after that came along, the whole web come along and e-commerce. So I told my guys back then, I said, "Hey, let's do this. Let's start something." Pogs were super huge in Hawaii. We were about selling Pogs online, right? And then nobody wanted to do the work. So I ended up coding a bunch of the major sites here in Hawaii, working with Oceanic Cable, which is now Spectrum, and Hawaiian Airlines. And again, everyone's like, "Oh man, you got lucky." No, fool, I was there. I told you, let's go, but you didn't want to do it. So another inflection point right now is happening. And this is the same thing as when we first got computers, back when I had my TRS-80 and everybody else wanted to do something dumb. Back when live video game came on with Xbox Live, where you could literally play, and you could play on Xbox Live, and we used to do like 16-man Halo tournaments, right? This is another one of those inflection points. So either you do it, you stay in it, and just be around it enough to figure out a way to find the lane, or you can keep worrying about it because your kid's going to cheat on the tests. Trust me, parents, if your kid's cheating on a test, it's not your kid, it's your kid's teacher. And never let the teacher tell you it's the kid, because good teachers teach well enough, nobody has to cheat.
It's true.
That's a good point.
It's so true. I think there's a space for everyone to be able to use it effectively, and it's been fun to be playing around with it. I took feedback from last week's episode because Doc said, and I just finished our transcript in Descript, but one of the talking points was to take your clip that we were clipping in Descript and take that and then put that text into ChatGPT to be able to get like an interesting talking point from your clip, and then use Descript again to put our own voice over it and have it as like an audiogram or a cool audio vibe. And I was like, I'm going to do that this week. So get ready, everyone. As soon as we're done wrapping this up, that's on my next to-do list.
And as I play with it, there's super cool things you can do. You can ask it to reframe, so you can get an answer from it and then ask it to kind of reframe that answer differently. And so a good mental idea is to say, okay, I'm a real estate agent and I need a listing on some house in Connecticut, right? And so you can put the specific details and it'll give you a listing. And then you can say, I would like 10 social media posts, like 10 Instagram posts for this listing, and please relate it to related listings in the area. And so it'll give you 10 Instagram posts. And I got to tell you, you can't tell. You can't tell. It seems real. And so there is an engineer at Google who said, a number of them, Google's really up in arms, but was an engineer at Google that said that it is going to end the modern search engine within the next 2 years. Because that's what Microsoft wants.
That's what Microsoft wants.
I believe that. I got into the Bing thing like a week ago.
They want it because they're Bing.
Right. So, everybody was trying to get in, and they're like, "Oh, it's going to be like weeks." But I had put in for it before they made the announcement because I was listening to the leaks, right? And then again, like if you're paying attention, you'll find these things out. I knew about the leak like 3 weeks prior to the actual event. And a lot of people was like, "Oh, Microsoft can't do this. They're Microsoft," But the minute they say, "Hey guys, here's a check for $10 billion," that's when I started paying attention to what Microsoft was doing in it. Because no one's going to give you 10B and just like, go ahead, take this. I see you when I see you. I loan my brother-in-law $50. Hey, I'm calling him every day. Hey, man, where's my money, man? You know what I'm saying? So being in the Bing thing, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, it's actually good. So for probably the last 2 weeks, I know. It's kind of amazing. It's like all of a sudden, if the Lions were good.
The Lions are good, though.
Yeah, see, there you go.
It's an upside down world right now. Oh, gosh.
Where's Barbara? We're living in the upside down.
We are. We're living in the upside down.
super amazing, and I'm kind of impressed at what it does. And then, so what was it, last week Friday or whatever, I got the email and it's like, hey, Chat GPT Plus, right? And I was like, hey, I already have Jasper and Brainwork and about 3 other different AI programs, but I'm like, man, what's $20? I'm gonna throw it at it just to see what happens. And Chat GPT Plus is freaking incredible. So it's like, listen, fam, even if you're scared, even if you're worried, you wasted $120 on less, spend the $20 to get Chat GPT Plus, spend 6 months with it and see if you, I mean, legit, give it a budget, give it 6 months, see what you come up with, and then bail if you don't like it. But you've thrown $120 at less for, well, at that time, 90 something Jordan, 120. Now, 1200. 1200. So, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I love it. Well, I think again, like this is a great example of a cool way that you can use it for podcasting. And I think it's really smart. So we should all kind of take note on what the possibilities are for, everyone's like, well, I don't know how we can use it for video, or I don't know how we can use it for podcasting. There are tons of ideas. Pick one, run with it, or duplicate what other people do.
Media manager.
Steal John and Mark's ideas. It's a good way to get up and running. I want to talk a little bit about, I see a question in the live chat, which is one of the reasons why everyone listening right now should be hanging out with us in our live studio audience. But Maureen asks all about seasons. And I know that you both just finished your first season. We don't do seasons here on the Flow because Doc's a workaholic. No, just kidding. I'm a workaholic. No, but so how did you think through the idea of seasons? Is it something that you thought you would always do seasons? How long a break are you taking? How are you thinking that through and approaching it?
We were thinking about doing seasons from the beginning. I don't think for any good reason than we thought that we should.
Seemed fun.
And so I looked up some stats, just research, right? And that's all it is. Everything we're doing is just figuring it out on the fly. And I looked up a 6 to 13 episode suggestion. It turns out that episode 11 was right in line with the Super Bowl, and being we're a sports podcast, that makes sense.
Like, we're done for now.
and on top of that, we're taking next week off because it's my birthday.
Happy almost birthday, John.
Happy almost birthday.
You know what's kind of a trip about that, what you said, is as a sports person, and maybe my season's a little different than most people, I get like an extra month because I'm a round football, like the actual football fan. So I go football, and then I go throw ball, and then basketball, baseball, hockey. So my season's a little different because it's global sports. I got a lot of chance, a lot of opportunity. But that month of July, when nothing happens,
nothing but baseball.
Like the bet, you got baseball, and it depends. If the Red Sox are sucking in July, I'm really irritated because I got nothing to watch. Right? I'll be super mad. But when we're good, I'm cool with that. But that month, I always laugh because there's nothing going on. You turn on any of these, 15 sports network, and we have gymnastics, we have twirling. There's pool tournament, which is cool, but not really. We got all kind of weird things going on. Highlight this week on ESPN Ocho, we got Highlight from Tampa Bay, Florida, and I'm just like, this is when you guys can take a break, right?
You know what? That's one good thing about sports, though, especially when you talk about the NFL. You can talk about the NFL all year round, believe it or not. All year long.
True.
So in July, that's around the time when there are mini camps going on and they're getting ready for the preseason. Yeah. That's one thing the NFL has over every single sports league. You can talk about the NFL all year long, and you could talk about every team all year long as well, because even the bad teams, there's just a lot of drama going on. But thankfully, also, John and I are really big baseball fans, as evidenced by the hat that he's wearing. And we could talk about baseball forever, not only what's going on with the game today, but what happened, 20 years ago and stuff like that.
But I think a strength of the show, too, is that we're not putting ourselves in a lane. I mean, we're a sports podcast and we're talking about sports, but also we're talking about pretty much the news cycle. And so my process, I don't know if it's Mark's process, but we produce a show. I take the day off on Sunday when it releases. And on Monday, I start watching, ESPN. I start watching the general news cycle.
Yeah, research mode.
I kind of like grab a question or two, just as they come down. And then by the time we get to Wednesday, so we record on Thursdays, by the time we get to Wednesday, I generally have 7, share it with our guest of the week. And so even in a doldrum time of sports, like when there is just baseball, I think we're going to be fine. I don't think there's going to be a lot that we can't talk about. And mainly because Mark and I just like talking to each other.
Yeah, it's perfect. Well, and also baseball is really good nowadays, right? It got bad rap for a minute, but they've done a really, really good job of, like, you know, making the game better, making the game more enjoyable and things like that. And
Have they? I would argue against that, dog.
I think so. I think the entertainment at the park has gotten better than it used to be. There are a lot more, say, 1-0, 2-0 games back in the day. You really don't see that now because of some of the loosen ups. And I guess that's what makes some of the OG, like my grandpa would be really mad right now. He would be mad at a lot of stuff that goes on in the game. But, you know, when we went to the park, we just went to eat. So my grandpa was about the game. I just wanted to eat. I'm like, Pops, can I get some more popcorn? Yeah, sure.
And the food is so much better now, too.
The food is so much better now, too.
Yo, you know how good food is? I went to go watch the Padres and the Reds. And I was in Petco, and I was like, good Lord, this is like Michelin star baseball food. They got these tri-tip nachos. It is so good. And what's genius about Petco is to get back to the hotel, you literally walk across the bridge and you're in there. So when we were in San Diego last as a company, we stayed in the same hotel. And I was like, oh man, too bad it's not baseball season, because I so would have went to Petco and got some tri-tip nachos.
Yeah, but the Gaslamp Quarter in general is just awesome. There's so much.
It's true.
Right?
So many good bars.
As soon as you walk out, so much to see, so much to do and eat. And so, yeah, I was just listening to something the other day, and somebody was talking about, it was one of the British guys came over to go to a baseball game, and he was talking about what we have for food offerings at our parks versus they still got meat pies and tea. You know, and he was like, you can get a beer, you can get tea, you can get meat pie, you can get popcorn. In America, they got Michelin star food in the baseball stadium.
Yeah.
And, you know, he had gone to like a Yankees game, and I was like, yeah, man, we definitely have sportstainment down, like really down. I'm looking forward to coming in talking about how USA soccer, I hate saying that word, will never get good until we get rid of college soccer and go to, you know, teams the way they do everywhere else in the planet except here.
That's an interesting perspective. Yeah.
Doug's gonna trick you into bringing him on as a guest soon. He's pulling out all his sports lingo.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
But it's funny, our country, and you're a little kid, right? Your first sport, and for most people in the country, is soccer. And then somehow when you get to high school, some curmudgeon-y coach talks all of the guys out of it, and you got to do something else. And so we literally lose it at high school because of like coaching. And I'm like, this is horrible.
And the money invested into a football program. Yeah.
Right. So if you look at our men's team, right, especially our female team, there's no question, right? Our female teams play on some of the best teams in the world, right? They're like, they are the best in the world, period,
Absolutely.
point blank in the story. England is slowly catching up. Canada also slowly catching up. Our men's players play for the top teams in the world, right? We got men's players at Bayern Munich, at Barcelona. We got men's guys, you know, in the EPL. You know, Manchester United, my team, we just played Leeds a couple days ago, and they have 3 American players, and those 3 American players, they about killed half of our guys, right? Tyler Adams is just out there breaking people. And Americans have always been good in soccer over there. Then they come here, and we can't put together a national team. Why? Because we just don't put that money into it.
Yeah, we don't invest in it.
That's a great point. I mean,
this men's team is pretty good, though. I think Christian Pulisic
They're
is
so
a real leader. I mean,
they're young.
but they're young, right? And so I think that's why
Yeah.
they lost this year, is because they just don't have the experience.
Well, they need a couple more play. By the way, I love how your podcast is somehow converted into our
I know.
podcast
I
right
know.
now.
I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, Maureen, we've answered your question, and it's obviously that you should just never take seasons because you just have tons to talk about if you're passionate about it, or take a break. But I think what's cool with you guys ending on Super Bowl is that you know the sports inside and out, obviously, because we've just been talking about it for 10 minutes or so. But you figured out too, looking at the calendar, that like a Super Bowl, great place to pause, take whatever time you need, reset, jump back into it. But it's kind of understanding what that calendar looks like. And It looks like Maureen's talking about badass stuff like knives, man caves, survival gear. This is incredible. So yeah, you could look at the calendar and are there any, big events or big product releases that you want to talk about? Maybe those points are the natural breaking points, or maybe you just have way too much to talk about. So, you do like Doc and I do. And if one of you or both of you need to be out, you just do a batch recording or do pod swapping and bring on a guest host for that week. I think there's lots of options for either side of that coin.
No, for Marine X, the SHOT Show would be a good breaking point because most of the people in the industry all take off and go to the SHOT Show.
There you go.
That's a good opportunity for you to go to the SHOT Show and interview people.
Yeah, I was going to say, we'd say be live from
exactly. Yeah, we do it from the road. We're not always on the road.
Ooh, well, I don't think we're quite there yet. That's up there though. Well, we actually thought about doing that for the Super Bowl episode, but it's like I don't think we're quite ready for that just yet. But maybe someday soon.
And for us, and my main concern for doing like a live during the Super Bowl was we're not at the point where we have like movable audio gear, and so I think that now that the audio quality of our podcast is so much further from when it started, I don't really want to go backwards.
But you are. Okay, so here, I can't reach it. It's just in the other drawer. Shure MV88 Plus and your phone, and sorry for Pete's Android. You just slap it into one of these bad boys. It sits here on the top, and that thing creates incredible audio. It's a simple mic. It's made by Shure, so the quality is banging. It's like your MV7, but in a portable, and you can stick it directly onto your phone. And believe it or not, your MV7 will run directly off of your phone.
Really?
You can take that USB cable that you have connected into it right now and plug it into the phone and use the Shure Motive app, and you can talk MV7 straight out of an iPhone.
That's super cool.
See, it was all worthwhile to come on the podcast already.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're always going to convince you to do it on the road. Doc and I last year were at, what was it? 8 or 9 events back. We did like a whole Doc and Katie road show, and we were setting up like our entire video podcasting space and multiple other live streams, like in hotel rooms, in weird conference spaces, and all these. And not to say that
it's fun.
Yeah, not to say things don't go wrong. They absolutely do. But I think that's, I don't know. Those episodes have a special nature to them that is unlike anything else, because it is exciting that you're not in your space. Yeah, the audience kind of loves that.
The audience is very forgiving. But yeah, we had fun doing our show on the road.
Yeah.
One of our people was the lady from Shure, so they gave us an opportunity to talk about that microphone because she had one. And she does her podcast from a hotel room with that microphone, and she plays guitar in the podcast. And I would tell you right now, if you go and listen to Song 43 podcast, you will not know that it's recorded in the hotel.
Yeah, she is so awesome. We are in probably the same way that we have not yet convinced you to go video. You should go video. But if we have not yet convinced you, Laura's the same way from Shure, because she's like, I just really like to be like snuggled in bed working on my podcast. So she loves that aspect of it. But yeah, her podcast is fantastic, and she's doing it literally on the go.
It's funny, Katie, you say it right now, and they're doing it now.
Yeah.
So like we just did a small section of your podcast in video.
We'll send you the files.
You don't have to release an edited video. You can just do it live like we do it, a live taping. So your audience has an opportunity to be there for the live taping. All the mistakes, everything can stay. Nobody cares about that. When I'm recording on Twit, which is one of the largest podcast networks in the planet, right? We do a live studio audience, and everyone's there for like a half an hour while we're setting up. Like people in the chat just talking, hanging out. This is their chance to come and cruise, right? Then we start the show, we do the show, we stop in the middle to take bathroom breaks, do advertisement breaks, whatever, and we finish the show. Records about 2.5 hours, and people stay in the chat the entire time. And even after we're done, while Leo is doing pickups because he said something wrong or he needs to fix a line or whatever, people just hang out and continue to talk. And then once that's over, it gets handed to the editors. They have a big team, so it gets put out the next day as a clean show. So people watch the clean show, but trust you me, dude, there's like 400 or 500 people chilling in the audience every recording. And nobody cares about all of that stuff because it's no different than watching the live game. If you get to the game early, you're watching, them with the sweepers walking around, you see them setting up the table.
You're getting a hot dog. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's no different. And I think you're perfectly set. Your main podcast can still be your audio, but doing a video podcast, number one, Mark and John, is easier to connect when you can see each other. And then number two, your audience, your community will get built around your pre-tapings and all of the dumb stuff Mark's going to say in the pre-taping.
Our outtakes are hilarious. I cut great stuff every week, and I'm sad about cutting great stuff every week, but it just isn't on. It doesn't make sense in the conversation, even though it's really funny.
I know. See, John cut out all the best parts of our. No, just kidding. No. We've been talking for a while about doing like our mailbag episode where it's just like all the clips of just answering helpful questions. I feel like you guys need like the outtake episode where it's just like important, awesome conversations that have nothing to do with anything else. And you could just stitch them together into an awesome outtake episode. I think that'd be fantastic.
Well, it's funny, right? If you look at the site and you go to the photo gallery, it is literally a picture of the shoot around at a Brooklyn Nets game. All right, I'm gonna just go ahead and turn off my mic and then walk away. that is called the walk-off homer right there.
For real, all those pictures are just cool sporting events that I've been to with Mark over the last 24 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying there's people sitting there watching them do the shoot around, so you can do your live taping. That's and it'll be perfect for you guys.
We're saying you need to go on tour.
I think that's one of our main improvements, I guess, for season 2. We're going to have a State of the Union meeting on Thursday, Mark's idea. And we're just going to talk about things we want to add and things we want to change. And I think like getting an OBS template set up, because we don't have Max, unfortunately, but getting an OBS template set up is a real good thing to go for. Yeah,
definitely. That's all right. We're not judging you here. Well, Doc is, but I won't.
I am, but it's okay. They talk about throw balls, so there's that. No, I really think that, first of all, the templating is super simple. Everything you're looking at that we have here, it's all Canva.
I love Canva.
Right.
Yeah, you can just make the whole entire thing in Canva. I'm a Photoshop guy, a Photoshop trainer before. Like I can say, I don't even bother because Canva's just quicker. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's, to me, a Photoshop person having to use Canva to make stuff, at first I thought of it as like, you realize you're asking, Poppy to like bunt to first, right? He just came from first. He was standing there for hours and he just walked away from, now you got to go back. But once I started using it, I got it. And just like when you need the bunt, there's a strategy to it, right? Mm-hmm. The thing that makes Canva so dope is your Photoshop tweakerness of all the buttons you got and cool stuff you can do is now gone. So now you have to just make what you got to make, right?
Exactly.
And there's an occasion when all you have is hot dog and beans in the kitchen, but you got to turn it into a meal. Turns out to be a pretty epic meal. So it's the same thing, right? That limitation actually makes it saucy.
I love hot dog and beans. That's a great meal just by itself.
Well, now I'm hungry as usual. This was the worst recording time. Every time I sit down for the 12 to noon recording, Ken is like, I'm going to go grab lunch. You want to come with me? And I'm like, okay. I'll just stay here for the flow.
And I mean, just to talk about organic things, Mark has been learning Canva and getting really good at it. And most of our social media graphics he's making in Canva.
So good.
Say it again for the people in the back. These two are Google searching and learning and pushing all of the buttons. So none of us have any excuses. Excuses out the door. This is the year where we're all just doing the damn thing and seeing what comes of it and supporting each other and learning and growing together. Because I think it's been too much of us all saying it would be great if we started a podcast, or I really would love to start a podcast, or I'd really love to do this different aspect to grow my podcast. And more. I'm loving that the Flow Riders and more of our people are starting to just take action and do it and push the buttons and test things out. Doc did a whole interview challenge yesterday in the Ecamm community where he was like, who has not been an interview guest? And everyone's hands went up and he was like, all right, we're all going to be interview guests today. Come on and be interview guests.
Yeah, that was fun. And you guys, here's the hilarious part about that. I call myself being snarky about who's hosting interviews that has never been a guest on an interview. thinking nobody would admit to that because that's like, feeding your baby, baby bottle without squirting it on your hand first. Like, how you know how to tell the guest what to do if you've never seen the guest interface? Turns out a lot of people never seen the guest interface. And I was like, oops, well, you stepped in that one. Now you got to go show people what to do. I guess, for people, it just didn't register that maybe I should probably know what that looks like. It's the reason why when the chef opens a restaurant, he makes all the waiters come in and eat the food.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because you can't recommend the fish if you never tasted the fish. Like it just maybe because I come from restaurants, it would seem like a common sense thing to do. But yeah, it turned out a lot of people hadn't done it. So doing that was cool. And I love the fact that you're trying things and you're adding a little bit at a time. And that is the key element. Don't have to do everything all at once. First of all, you can't tell what's working if you do it all at once. You have to do it a little bit at a time, right? And so when you watch someone stick to their game plan but make adjustments accordingly, they come back in the fourth quarter and win. Andy Reid, I hate you.
Like the Chiefs this Sunday.
I have learned so much about sports.
They could have panicked when they were down, at the half. They could have panicked. I was hoping they would panic. Every ounce of my black and silver blood was like, finally, we get rid of them. Son of a... Words I can't say on this podcast.
Too funny. I'm loving though that our live studio audience is following right along with all the sports. We need to not forget about darts. We've been talking about water polo in the chat. We have people saying that the U.S. men's consistently do better than England. Where everyone is right on board with you. The Flow Riders have just switched over into sports fans.
It's a sports day, you guys. It's all good.
Sports day. Awesome.
We definitely talk about the non-traditional sports too. Like I've taught John a lot about tennis because that's something that he definitely didn't know anything about before. And it's definitely just not like the football and the baseball. And but yeah, we've delved into a lot of different sports. But darts is definitely one. I think maybe that'll be in the next episode.
I was a competitive billiards player in high school, so we can talk about billiards.
We haven't gotten into that yet.
And I haven't heard any beer pong talk either. So, I mean, really, there's like tons of opportunities here for all the sports.
Beer pong.
We'll save that for July.
My missus was a state champion tennis player, and so I got to watch lots and lots and lots of tennis. And yeah, tennis is actually good now too.
Well, we were there were 3 episodes spanned the Australian Open, so there was a whole lot to talk about.
I love it.
Amazing. My brother-in-law lives right next to the tennis complex right there in Flushing. His wife goes to play there practically every day, but they go to all of the events that they have there. And it's cool because when you're at their house and there's an event there, you can hear that thing. Like people but it's polite. And so it's funny to me because it's loud on the loud parts and then it's dead silent. It's really weird. Being out of a stadium, you can hear the stadium vibrate and it's always awesome. The tennis one is super cool because like it comes back again a couple minutes later. It's quite epic.
Yeah, I went to Wimbledon and the U.S. Open last year, and definitely 2 different animals there. But you're absolutely right, Doc. Like it's so quiet, and then it gets super intense. In between points.
Dude, that's cool. You got to go to Wimbledon. That's something I've always kind of wanted to see. Just the sliding.
And I'm definitely going to go again.
You're not going?
No, I'm definitely going to try and go again.
Oh, okay. Here's a random funny one for you. Have you guys been, after Netflix especially, have you been picking up on the F1 game at all?
I am so excited by that, by the way. The fact that they're doing that.
So good. It's so good.
And you guys, just because we bring it up almost every episode, Mark doesn't have Netflix. Like
one of our running gags.
I was just waiting in my moment of silence. I was like, here we go. It's a running gag that Mark really... You see, there you go. You need to open up a Patreon and build a membership to fund Mark's Netflix so that you guys can continue to talk about it. See? Marketing. There we go. Right there.
Full circle.
I am fully broken right now.
Seriously.
Like a monster, Doc.
Oh my God. I am fully broken.
Oh my gosh. Well, we somehow, I'm always amazed. I look down and I'm like, wow, it's been an hour. Done. right there. It flies by. Is there anything else that you want to share with people as they're starting or continuing on their podcasting journey? Any words of wisdom or fun facts that you've picked up along the way?
I think this is a thing I say a lot. People like hearing people who enjoy talking to each other. It's just pleasant, right? And I think that is our main strength. Mark and I and Pete, we really just enjoy talking to each other. And so, and Katie said this on her episode, which really resonated with me. The ability for people to become your friends, especially when you're such good friends, is a really powerful tool. So you should use that.
Ooh, Katie, you don't say those stuffs on our podcast.
I know. I'm like, I'm marking that one.
that one is good. That one is good. You know, I find this hilarious because we have an ex-principal in the chat who asked a question about any talk on tabletop paper football. And the only reason why that's funny is I legit got, sent home from school suspended because I used to play tabletop paper football so much.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I got suspended from school for it.
I accidentally hit someone in the eye when I did that in high school. That was a little scary, but we could definitely do tabletop.
Oh my God. I want to know who invented that game. I want to know the history behind it because it's something that like kids all around the planet know what it is. Everybody's done it before, but oh my goodness, such a good game.
We should all do a challenge to see if we remember how to fold one.
I know. Yeah. See, that would be like a fun, like live behind the scenes, as we could do little countdown timers. We'll help produce your behind the scenes. Who can make the fastest tabletop paper football?
And then which one can go the furthest, right? Which one is structurally the most sound?
Right. You know what? One thing that was funny as kids, right? Like if someone were to told you that you were getting into like, algebra or engineering, you would have just not paid them any attention. But I remember having thoughts or conversation around adjusting the size of the football according to the size of the table. But you just didn't know. You're just a kid. Like,
yeah, you did it without even knowing. Yep.
But if the teacher tried to tell you that you were having those decisions and you were, doing a little trial and error type situation, let's open it back up, peel like an inch off and fold it back up again. It'll be better. It's too heavy for this table. That kind of thing. You would have been like, no, you wouldn't do that homework. But at the same token, while you're sitting there solving these problems, most teachers or parents would come by and stop you because they're not realizing what you're getting out of it. And it kind of relates to what you're doing now. When you're doing a podcast and you're doing it from having a point, having a purpose, it just comes out and you can get all these things done. Yeah. And no one scared you with, John, you have to learn these audio things. You're going to have to learn some production stuff. You're going to have to learn how to speak extemporaneously. You're going to have to learn how to guide a conversation. You know what I'm saying? But if someone gave you a list of the skills that you have now as a podcaster, you probably would have looked at that list and freaked yourself out.
Yeah.
But the truth is, you know how to do all of these things, or they'll come to you automatically as you get into the mix.
Absolutely.
Paul just asked ChatGPT about tabletop football. I know you did, Paul, because you did not type all of that out that quick.
Amazing.
What is it? What'd it say? What'd it say?
You guys got to put this. Oh, you got to put this in your show because this will be good. It says tabletop paper football, also known as flick football, is believed to have originated in the United States in the early 20th century. It is a game that can be played only using a piece of paper with one's fingers and making a popular pastime among students. And there's 4 more paragraphs. I'm like, this guy just chat GPT the entire thing.
All right, so you can ask ChatGPT now to rephrase that as a limerick.
It'll sounds like next level. We're ready.
It'll do it.
Oh my goodness. Prompt engineering is so much fun. That is part of the game right there.
That is.
I am definitely going to go dive into some of these shows because I do love American football. I was joking. I played it for many years, but after, spending time abroad, from the military, the one thing that was on everywhere else was the soccer thing, which I also played as a kid. But again, it got squashed in college. My soccer and football coach fought as for which sport I was going to play because you couldn't play both there at the same time. And then I ended up in football, which was dumb. I should have stayed at soccer. I was much better at it. You know what I mean? And it's really cool that, you've turned this into a podcast. It's something that you love. I hate when people say it's a passion project. You guys are beyond passion at this point because passions do go away. Ask any ex-girlfriend. I was blaming it on us, guys. Don't get freaked out. But when you really have a purpose and you're enjoying it and you're just building something great, it comes out a lot easier. So I hope you continue to go. And I know that you've inspired some of the Flow Riders to do some stuff that they may have been afraid of. So thank you for that.
Yeah, congrats on an awesome first season. You've made it past pod fade. You're onward and upward. So celebrate time.
I don't even know how to
Did you guys make
anymore.
a name for your community yet?
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, you need a name.
I'm very jealous of the Flow Riders.
Ballers.
We definitely need to the ballers.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Rock sue us for that one.
I know. You know what? Flow Riders, I think it was me. I was being obnoxious and asked them what they wanted to be called. And there were a whole bunch of ideas. We were literally live being like, no, we don't want thank you for your ideas. We don't like any of these. And then one of the influencers that we work with all the time, Marshall Fawkes, who I just steal all of his genius, I think sent us it was either in the chat or direct messaged us and was like, what about Flow Riders as a joke? And I was like, that's it. That's the money.
So good,
that's the money shot. So now we've forced everyone to be called that. Sorry, Flow Riders. Sorry, not sorry.
When you guys do an episode on hating the Cowboys, let me know so I can.
Doc's there for all your episodes. Ball talkers. There you go. We should ask the Flow Riders what. Yeah.
There we go.
No, I said that because Rich put that, and Rich is a Cowboys fan, so that's why I had to say that.
I'm a Giants fan, right? So I have to hate the Cowboys.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit. We talked a little about the Cowboys on the last episode, but it wasn't really hating on them. But I know we could probably fill a whole episode on that, though. That's for sure.
Doc's review of your podcast is just going to be specifically on what you said in that episode and has nothing to do with the actual quality of the podcast itself.
Oh, this has been good. This has been super good.
Well, and I think you brought it up, but having Pete, having us each have skills, like I'm doing a lot of the web design, I'm doing most of the IT stuff. Mark's doing most of the management stuff and getting us, distributed and
marketing,
taking roles, I think is really important. And leaning into your skills is really important. And we couldn't do the show without Pete.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep.
Dude, the best thing we ever did was get Luis to produce the show, as opposed to just doing. Like, I know how to do it, but it's a lot more time, right? So having Luis do the show was brilliant. It's probably been the best thing that we've ever done.
I might or might not spend 5 or so hours a week editing. It's a lot. Hi, Luis.
Luis is like, it's like Clippy. Remember Microsoft Clippy? Luis is like little Clippy, just pop in. Hey guys.
Yeah, he's like a much less obnoxious Clippy. Yes.
So yeah, it's super awesome. Thank you guys so much. Flow Riders, this has been great. Make sure you jump over to their podcast link. Paul and I put it in the chat. I will read it for you off the screen. If these balls could talk pod.com. If these balls, it's really funny to start a sentence with these balls. If these balls could talk pod.com. Slide over there. Make sure you go and check out the podcast. I'm definitely going to find this merch store and get me one of these cool Wicked shirts. It is in Celtics colors, so we're good. Thank you guys. It's been super epic. I really appreciate you guys being here. And I just know, again, I'm pretty sure you inspired some people who are afraid to do something. And I had a conversation with a friend yesterday, and she was on the right path. She knew exactly what she wanted to do. But she said, actually having talked to someone who's done it made her feel better. And I was like, that's why we do this show. And so you guys being here and us having this conversation with you, somebody who's already like on the fence and kind of ready, but still that last little bit, having talked to someone who's done it has taken them and pushed them over the line. So
absolutely
I appreciate that.
Like you guys said, rip the Band-Aid off.
And thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us, guys. This has been great.
Thanks for coming.
All right, Flow Riders, this has been another wrap. If you have any questions for us, make sure you send us an email at flow@ecamm.com. You can jump onto the Volley and leave your questions. It is at the QR code there. You can scan off the screen. And then be sure to jump over to your Apple Podcasts or wherever your podcast getting is got and get The Flow by Ecamm. You can find us here every Tuesday with the live taping, and then the actual video comes back live after that. This show has been awesomely sponsored by Descript. We talk about it on a regular basis. Descript is the coolest thing in the world. If you are afraid of doing this video podcast, Mark John, because you don't know how to edit video, you know how to use Word, you know how to edit a Google Doc. If you can use Word or you can edit a Google Doc, you can edit your video in Descript. You basically, when you're finished recording your podcast in Ecamm, well,
crickets.
When you finish recording your podcast, in Ecamm, we press the button that says edit in Descript. You're going to have to drag your files in manually into Descript. It's okay. It'll be fine. It will instantly transcribe all of your audio, turn it into functioning words, and you can look at them on the screen, and you can see all of the places where Mark said, and you can say, hey, Descript, can you take out Mark's bot? And you press a button, all the ums are gone, right? You can fill in things that you said. If you made a line that you kind of want to fix because you said something wrong, like every once in a while, growing up in DC, I still call the Commanders by their original name because, I don't know, 50 plus years of doing it. I have to switch that. And well, now they're not worth talking about. And yes, I said that to a team that's from my neighborhood. I could go into the script and highlight it and go, that one particular time where he might have used the old name, I can have it switched to the new name. And because it can replace it with my own voice, it will be like, and the Washington Commanders. Just like that. You would never know that I ever flubbed the line from way back in the Mark Ripken days. You have the ability to do things like that. If you're doing things for your social media clip, Mark, you can just highlight a paragraph and say, turn this into an audiogram, which will give you a mini karaoke videos. And yes, people, I say karaoke. I don't even know who the hell Carrie is. I'm sorry. Nihongo no koto ga dekimasu kedo, mara karaoke, not karaoke. Anyway, so the script can go ahead and fix everything and just make it golden. And it's literally editing a Word doc. If you can highlight words and delete words, and you can edit a video just by fixing the document. It is one of the most amazing tools. And you know what? It's AI. And you don't even have to talk about practice. So thank you, Descript, for sponsoring this episode of The Flow. Katie, you want to say bye to the writers?
I was just thinking at the end of that, I'm like, I feel like Descript was made entirely for me. It was like, Katie doesn't have time to learn editing. So we will make her Descript so that she can just drag files in and edit in a Word document, which is her zone, my entire zone. Needed to add that, everyone, just because I really, really feel that deeply.
And Descript does 26 languages, but Descript does not understand my Japanese.
Yeah, Doc's fast talk and slang and Japanese. Descript is just like, but that's okay because I'm here to help with all of those edits. But I was supposed to say goodbye, so I will say goodbye. Thank you so much to Mark and John for joining us today. Be sure to check out their podcast. Thank you to all of the Flow Writers for hanging out with us and making our live studio audience the best, most fun place, and for listening to us and leaving reviews. We appreciate you.
Flow Writers out.